So a reminder to everyone, I am not a professional financial advisor. All the advice and information in this video are for entertainment purposes only. That doesn't mean it's not good information. Just remember to do your own research and find professional help when needed. Nah, I'm not gonna buy the $8 lunch. I'm trying to save money. I'll just eat when I get home. Whoa, this hard drive is 50% off? It's only $50. I saved a lot of money by not eating lunch. I could probably buy it. And that is exactly how you don't save your money. So, on our journey for financial stability, having the mindset to save your money is a start, but without a planned budget, you risk losing the money that you've been saving. The key is to pay yourself first, and that means contributing to assets that increase your financial stability while also increasing your wealth. Without a planned budget, you'll speculate about the money that you can spend versus the money that you should be saving. I like to call this phantom money. What ends up happening is that you think you're saving a lot of money, but your wealth just doesn't seem to be increasing. When you see your bank account, you'll see $1,000, $5,000, maybe even $10,000, and you believe that you're being responsible by maintaining that balance. And as long as you maintain that balance and you spend the extra money, that's okay, right? The reality is your bank account might as well be $0. You're effectively making yourself live paycheck to paycheck, regardless of how much money you're making. Imagine if you didn't have a job for half a year. Would you be able to sustain your lifestyle without attaining any debt? And this is why we need to pay ourselves first. I like to think of it as a video game. It's probably why I've been so interested in personal finance lately. In a video game, you usually gain currency by completing quests or doing monotonous tasks. You progress by spending money on items that improve your character's efficiency at completing tasks and quests. The biggest thing that has changed between where you started and where you are now is you are now equipped to complete the tasks more efficiently, which gives you money faster. Translate this to real life. Basically, spend money on assets that pay you. The more assets that you have and the more money you get from those assets is truly how far you've gotten from where you started. Imagine being able to live without relying on your salary. That is the heart of the FIRE movement, which I discussed in my previous video. I don't believe you. I can keep track of the money I spend in my head. Budgeting just stresses me out. Well, let's check out Bob and Aaron and see how they're doing. Aaron makes about $12,000 a year, has no budget, lives with his family, but likes to think he is saving money. He spends about 70% of his income and feels that saving 30% of his income is better than most of his peers. Bob makes about $47,000 a year, has a budget, he lives with his family, and is in the best financial position to save and invest his money. He spends about 23% of his income and invests and saves about 76%. Aaron spends $81.13 on entertainment, $173 on food, and $22.01 on miscellaneous items. His total expense for that month is $276.63. Bob spends $23.95 on entertainment and $155.01 on food. His total expense is $178.96. Wow, so Aaron spent $100 more than Bob, even though he makes less than him. The big difference is having a budget. So the truth is, Aaron's spending is actually my spending for February of 2019. Look at how much money I spent on fast food. The difference was on entertainment and watching movies. Compare that to Bob's spending, which is actually my spending for February 2020 with a conscious budget in mind. Spending on food was nearly the same, but see how much less I ate out? Then see that when I did go out, it was on more expensive meals. The expenses I had in February emphasizes saving money on things that give you less value and spend money on experiences with more value. Virtually the same expense on food, but for vastly different experiences. Okay, I get it, I'll save money. Surprisingly, no. We need to budget, and just throwing your money into savings and investments is a good way to just stay on that hamster wheel. The goal is to create a budget that is possible for our lifestyle, that we're able to follow and we're not strangled by it. There are various websites and apps that can help you create a budget. I personally use Mint to track my net worth and what I've been spending my money on, but it didn't answer my biggest question. How much can I actually invest? So I created a budget spreadsheet that focuses on how much you can actually save and invest. For the low price of 5 easy payments of $3.99, you too can have this life-changing spreadsheet. Now, the link is actually down below. All you gotta do is click it, save it to your Google Drive, and you can edit it however you want and help you on your financial journey. The spreadsheet has instructions and comments that help guide you through how to use it. If there's something specific that's not working or doesn't make sense, let me know and I'll fix the original spreadsheet. Let's walk through how I recommend you use this sheet. Even if you're not going to use this spreadsheet that I've created, these are universal steps that help you create your own budget. Enter your gross yearly income. Not important for calculations, but just good for you to reference. Enter your net pay per pay period. I like to put net pay because this is money after your taxes, insurance, HSA, 401k, and other contributions. This gives you a better picture of how much you truly have to work with. Then enter your pay period. If you get paid monthly, then it's 12. Bi-monthly, 24. Weekly, 52. And if you have an hourly wage, work about 40 hours every week, the number is 2,080. Check the estimated income in the box underneath. Make sure it's reasonable compared to your gross salary. Make sure it's not higher than your gross salary either. Set your savings to $0, investment percent to 0, and saving percent to 100. We will adjust this later after we see how much we can work with. Enter your bills on the Bills tab. Put in your necessary spending such as rent, groceries, electric, car insurance, car maintenance, and any subscriptions you regularly pay like gym membership. I've included several pay periods: daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly. Fill in only one of these unless the fee is independent from the other, such as an annual fee and a monthly fee for gym memberships. If you're unsure, find out how much you pay for the bill per year and enter it as the yearly fee. There's some analysis on the side here. The columns breaks down by percent, how much that bill is in relation to all your bills, your gross salary, your net salary, and then how much the total of your bills is to your net or gross salary. I know it's sad to see how little we have to work with, but this is why we're planning. Now, return to your budget tab and see how much discretionary money you have. It looks like a lot, right? But remember, we need to pay ourselves first if we want financial security. Start deducting from the yearly discretion budget by increasing the number of savings at the top. Keep adding to your savings until you reach a discretionary spending number that matches your lifestyle. Remember that your goals determine how aggressive you need to save. If you want to follow the FIRE movement, you need to save 50% or more of your income. Make sure your discretion spending amount does not become a negative. If it does, you need to lower your savings target, reduce your bills, or increase your income. Adjust how you want to allocate investments and savings. This depends on your goals and your financial situation. Do you have loans to pay? Do you have high interest debt? Are you planning to buy a house? Do you want to have a big wedding? All things to be considered before allocating your savings. But here is what you must do first. First, have a checking account that holds at least 1 to 1.5 months of expenses and discretionary spending. Your checking account is the main hub for your money. It's where you receive your paycheck, and then, using this budget, we will transfer it where it's needed. Have a high yield savings account of at least 3 to 6 months of expenses. This is your emergency fund if you were to lose your job or a sudden expense came up. There is no limit to emergency savings. The number you need is the number that gives you the confidence to invest the rest of your savings. When you invest, don't expect to immediately have access to the money. For example, the S&P 500 has never had a negative return in a 20-year period. Short-term CDs also require you to have your money locked away for a set period of time. The plan is that daily spending is covered by your checking account, your emergency expenses are covered by your savings account, and your investments are not to be touched until your goal is met. Lastly, profit, I think. Let's look at how I use this sheet. This is my income over here. My savings target is $25,000. And almost all of it will be going towards investments. I currently live at home, and this is the only reason why I can be so aggressive with the amount I'm saving. As you can see, my expenses are relatively low. I also aim to overestimate some expenses, such as gas. I know I only get gas about every 1.5 weeks, but I estimate it every week. I just want to give myself as much wiggle room as possible. It's better to overestimate expenses and find extra money later rather than suddenly having a negative balance. So my expenses are about $4.3 thousand, which is about 13% of my net pay. So now let's go to my budget breakdown. So I've set myself up with 10% discretionary savings, which is $63 a week or $273.38 monthly. This number has been set because I've already set my target savings at $25,000 a year. The reason why I made this budget spreadsheet is so that I can ensure that I'm paying myself first. So first I receive my paycheck in my checking account, and then using the calculations I've gotten from the budget breakdown, I allocate the money according to my budget. I use M1 Finance to invest in my dividend portfolio. Every Tuesday, my account deposits $480.77 into M1 Finance. Then M1 Finance automatically invests it into my portfolio. It's all automated and I don't even have to think about it. How awesome is it that I can spend $63 a week worry-free? Because I've already balanced my budget towards my savings and investment goals, then I can spend this money every week and every month and not be worried about my financial future. And the thing is, even with this budget I've made, I don't usually use $63 every week. And what happens is any money that I don't use, I can save towards maybe a vacation, a new phone, maybe a new game. This is how you can buy things that have the most value to you while not sacrificing your financial stability. Well, you're spoiled and this is completely unrealistic for the average person. Yes, you're right, but let's look at a different budget. This is a budget that I set up with a friend. We put in her income and her current expenses. So we put in her expenses for rent, estimated groceries, internet, gym membership, electric, and other expenses that she knows that she has to pay for. We concluded she would be able to comfortably save $10,000 a year on a $44,000 salary. Remember, this calculator doesn't add in the 401k, HSA, or other employer contributions, so you actually have more savings than you realize. So yes, that $10,000 in savings isn't exactly my $25,000 in savings. But let's put this in perspective and put it into the FIRE calculator. FIRE calculator calculates an early retirement age depending on how much money you save and invest. So what we did was put in her annual income after taxes and contributions, which is $33,792. For her annual expenses, we added up the bill she has to pay and her discretionary spending. That comes out to be about $23,000. Remember, her 401k contributions are still not added to the savings. Assuming nothing changes in the future, she lives the same life, has the same expenses, such as not getting married, living in the same apartment, having no kids, etc., she could retire by age 56. The key is assuming nothing changes, and that's actually pretty exciting. Life does change, sometimes for better or worse, but the realization that you'll be just fine if nothing changes from how you currently live right now is very comforting. Knowing this alleviates a lot of pressure you might have when you face a future that is unknown. No matter how much money you make sure lifestyle creep doesn't get the best of you. Lifestyle creep is when your salary increases, but you also increase the expenses that you have. This happens when you move into some place with more rent or you buy a more expensive car. Basically, even though you're earning more money, your expenses match it. So your wealth building maintains the same level. Alright, so check this out. With 2 to 3 years of experience, she can actually get a salary of $60,000. If she maintained the same expenses, she could retire in 12 years by age 38. And that's the power of keeping your expenses low. Alright, so let's do a recap. Number 1, make a budget. Number 2, balance your savings so that you have enough money in your checking account to afford about 1 to 1.5 months of expenses. Then, have the rest of your savings in a high-yield savings account that can cover 3 to 6 months of expenses. Remember, the high-yield savings is for emergency use only. Once you've completed 1 and 2, you should have a financial safety net and you are ready to invest. The next question is, how and what to invest in? This is actually a loaded question that requires its own video. So here's the summary of it. For the long term, invest in property, index funds, and growth stocks. For the short term, invest in treasury bills or certificates of deposits. Now you've set yourself up with a budget and a plan to reach your financial goals. It felt really daunting in the beginning first, but we're already halfway there. Remember, it's a journey and not a race. So budgeting is super important. And even if you don't need to budget, you should. A large portion of my life has been living at home and having very little expenses. A lot of people that are still in high school, going to college, and they haven't moved out yet really don't have that many expenses. So what happens is that even though they don't have a lot of expenses, instead of investing and saving that money, they spend it on things that actually have very little value in the long term. As I said in my other video, if I knew then what I knew now, I could have had a net worth of $100,000. My hope is that this information reaches people that were in the same position I was back then. I know it's a bunch of shoulda, coulda, woulda. If I can help someone on their financial journey, it's definitely worth it. So if you'd like to join my financial journey, subscribe. Let's reach our goals together, and I'll see you all next time. Versus the money that you should be putting towards your assets. The reason why you need a clear budget. Without a planned budget, the key is to pay yourself first. The key thing when saving your money, the more assets you have and the more of a return that you're getting, puts you in a place further from where you started.